and our panelists for our panel for optimizing ship performance in today's Capital Link Forum. My name is Keng, DNV Vice President and Area Manager for China South. Again, moderating today with a lineup of experts is very important from maritime industry. A few words. Hello? Yeah. Yes. What does optimizing ship performance mean from various stakeholders' perspective in shipping value chain? How does innovation, technology, competence, regulation, and economy affect ship performance now and going forward? Where are opportunities? Where are challenges? Let's hear from our panelists. But before we get started, please allow me briefly introduce our panelists. Okay? Maybe start from my left side. Dario Bocchetti, right? Thank you. Yes. Dario is head of energy saving, R&D, and ship design for Grimaldi. And he has a function and task related to energy, performance, R&D, innovation, decarbonization, and new ship design. He's a member of executive committee for CSA, stands for Clean Shipping Alliance, and several industrial associations. And on that side, Mr. Bruno Bai, head of tanker for Asia Pacific of IG. Mr. Bai has over 2 decades business leader in blue chip companies such as DNV Group, Bright Oil, and Navigate. Experience in the shipping industry across multiple sectors, including crude products, LNG, LPG, chemical, and dry cargo, before he entered into current ship brokering business, right? Yeah. And with a global profile of customer at a senior level of engagement. Yeah. Mr. Holger Jablonski, he is a business director for Intership navigation company. Holger comes on more than 30 years of experience in shipping and expertise as a technical solution provider. He joined Intership in 2024 and is accountable for developing the corporate growth of well-trusted, distinct ship manager as a service and solution provider in dry bulk, crew, and product tankers, gas and MPP market segments worldwide. Intership managed more than 100 ships at present. And on the left side, Captain Vikas Kapoor. Captain Vikas Kapoor is currently head of business development for Ishima, which is a third-party ship management company based in Singapore and is a wholly owned subsidiary of the Dario Group. He has a background in selling technical ship management and business development. Okay, so so now we know each other in a way. So here comes a question to our panelists. We will start from Dario. Okay, so Dario. So, what recent innovations in energy-saving technologies has Grimaldi Group implemented in ship design, and how have they been implemented across your fleet?
Okay, good morning to everybody, and thank you for the nice introduction. It is a pleasure to be here again for the second year now. So I will try to say something different from last year, even if I'm not sure that anybody remembered that one, so I could also repeat it. But the discussion about energy efficiency in the fleet is very big. There are so many things that can be done on the ships. What I would like to say to start is that in China, Grimaldi, our shipping company, we operate, we own the entire fleet that we operate. So we do from the shipbuilding to the operation, and we have a fleet of ro-ro, everything that goes on the ship and out with the wheels, basically. So basically 4 segment, pure ro-ro for trucks. In Europe is very used a method to bring the trailer without the driver for a certain distance, and when it arrives at destination it finds another truck to finish the journey, and so it can stay on the ship. Maybe 500 trailer go like that for 1,000 kilometers, and then can find the truck to continue. This is called the motorways of the sea. So instead of going by the highway, the trailer can go on the ship and then finish the journey, so to decongestion the highways. Then we have the RO-PAX, so passenger and cargo, and then we have con-ro, container and ro-ro, and then we have PCTC, so car carrier. In total we have about 150 ships, and maybe 30 are under construction now or in progress. We are tendering the last series of ships in these days. And I see coming in China in this recent year, we started the new building program in China more than 10 years ago, but in this moment probably we are in the peak of this program with about 30 ships, and I see a lot of people also from shipyard that finally China is and in Shanghai, but in general is a very, very big community for shipping, and we can appreciate this, and there is really a lot of opportunities. So let me just mention very briefly, I listed down the 10 technologies that we are working now, but I will not go into it. So divided in 4 areas. One area is related to the hull and propulsion, and we are installing, so far we did 30 installation on new building of air lubrication. This air lubrication is quite interesting because the resistance of the water is higher than the resistance of the air. So if you put between the hull and the water some air, you reduce the resistance of the hull. So the concept is quite simple. Then the application needs some good technology, because otherwise this bubble can go out of the hull and you don't have the real efficiency. But if with a good maker and with good design, so far we achieve more or less 5%. And then what we think is very, very important for energy efficiency is the paint, the quality of the paint that you decide to apply on the hull, and how you maintain it. So first, top level paint, and second, good hull maintenance of it. There are some countries more and more in the world that have a special requirement. For example, like in Australia and New Zealand, now they require a niche area cleaning before you enter the port. And to do that, sometimes we are forced to do an hull cleaning maybe in the Suez Canal, and it can happen that you damage the paint instead of really cleaning it. So also the maintenance along the 5 years after you have installed the type of paint is very important. And we did a lot of propeller and bulb re-optimization. In case of changing the speed of the ship, it's possible to modify the profile, operational profile, and you can do a lot there. And then the other big area is the digital, with the analytics, performance monitoring system with the crew, because at the end, all about energy efficiency is very important. The involvement of the people on board can do a lot. If you give me a Ferrari but I cannot drive it, then the result will never be the best. It's important to have the good car, but also the driver is important. And we work a lot on the exhaust gas scrubber and carbon capture, even if it's not pure saving of energy, but maybe it's a saving of money, which is good to invest in other technology. And it is a good transitional solution. And finally, we work a lot with a hybrid solution for battery, cold ironing, And let me finish with the solar panel, because all the production is in China, and so far we have done a number of good installations on this, and we look forward to do more, even if ship need a lot of energy, but solar panel can give a small help as well. So basically, today the new fuel, the alternative fuel are very expensive and not very clear which will be, even if we have our strategy, but the saving energy is always good. It's a win-win solution. Whatever is the new fuel, if you consume less, you need less, so it's good.
Thank you, Dario. Seems you have already answered also the second question I prepared for you, which is, I just shared the question, but I believe it's answered. This was, how do you see the evolving international emission regulations impacting your strategy, right? Okay. For optimizing the performance. It was very good, very excellent. So I may move to Bruno now. So Bruno, welcome to the panel. And I know you are now become a ship broker, right? Yeah. So I'd like to ask you, what do you see from owner or broker, charterer's perspective, particularly within tanker and gas segments, the key factor to be prioritized when it comes to in connection with ship performance?
Sure. Let's start with some introduction of IG Group, IFCHOR GALBRAITHS shipbroker, and we're covering global shipbroking, covering gas, tanker, dry, and S&P. Myself actually working in Asia on the tanker side and joined the company last year. It's my honor to be invited today, and as Ken said, actually, I'm only become broker for 1 year, and also actually very difficult from broker's perspective to give you a opinion about vessel performance. But I think actually, along my work experience in the past over 20 years, I have seen quite a number of projects, such as focus on the fuel type, LNG, ammonia, methanol, and focus on the technology, such as rotor, sails, and air lubrication system. There's many good ideas has been put into operation and works. And however, there's a come to with a big but, and the saving versus in terms of technology, the saving versus the cost is always very questionable. We all know that actually, and as any commercial guy, you always run a number based on payback time, right? Let's not forget about the cost. It's difficult to justify. Not to mention in today's environment, high capex environment, one VLCC costs $125 million, and on top, you have to put a $15 million mold for the dual fuel technology. The break even for the 140 VLCC, every day you probably cost you about 55 to 60,000 for over 20 years. Not gonna happen. And then go back to the fuel type, which the previous speaker gave a great speech. But again, actually, fuel in terms of efficiency, in terms of environment, works. But again, actually, it comes with a very high cost and a lot of uncertainties. I see actually the last page of the presentation, the long-term challenge. One of the long-term challenges is uncertainty on the pricing. Nobody give ship owner a 10 years, 20 years fixed price for your bunker, for your LNG price, ammonia, not to mention the biofuel. So that's huge risk everybody taking. My view, there's probably a third solution to this one. Going back to the traditional shipping people, actually as a tanker, and when I joined this community, tanker normally run 25 years. Some of them 30 years. Gas carrier would be longer. Okay, let's say 25 years. But along the way, the ship age or the trading age has been shortened. The commercial life has been shortened to 15 years. And because of the environmental concern, because of the risk associated. And that change really put a lot of challenge to the ship owner or the investors, when and where they're going to put the money on, which in a way stop people investing tanker, investing shipping, and people has less ship to use, then end up paying much higher freight cost, which you could have used the money somewhere else to save the earth. But because of the hesitation, what happened in the last, typically, the last 4 or 5 years, I've been hearing a lot of conversation about which type of engine, dual fuel engine to use, ammonia, LNG, and also actually, as the previous speaker mentioned, actually we now swing back to LNG, right? And it was like a couple of years ago, ammonia, and methanol now switched back to LNG. So who knows what's going to happen next? But people just stop investing, which is no good for the business. Just thinking logically, in my mind, actually, the bigger the ship, the more cargo you can load, the more efficient, simply put. Okay, very simple mathematics. And the longer the ship life, okay, the more cargo the one vessel can load over her lifespan is more efficient. You don't need to reinvest every 15 years, which is a lot of waste, not only on the ship itself in terms of emission, but also actually on the shore, on the steel, on many stuff. We all learned the economics, right? The breaking window economy. This is stupid to every 15 years, 20 years to reinvest. Why not focus on getting our existing ships much better, much efficient, safer, and use them for longer? What has happened in the last 12 months on the tanker space, and the tanker market, free market was rocket high. Nobody talk about the environment anymore. And the trading, the commercial life suddenly prolonged from 15 years to 18 years by the cargo owner. Ship remained the same. What has changed? Nothing, just mindset. So come to my conclusion, we also need to change our mindset. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruno. Thank you. Very well done. Very well said. Change mindset. Probably the most difficult part of change, right? But yeah, it takes some process to do that. Okay, so maybe I can come to Holger. Holger, so the question for you was, what key performance indicator do Intership prioritize when assessing, evaluating your performance, ship performance?
Yeah, first of all, thank you very much for inviting me here. Nicholas and to your team, you have been setting up, again, another great event. It's fantastic to see all these people here in the audience, and the interest and the attraction also here in our panel discussions. I don't see many people outside discussing, so it means the question here about KPIs and let's say efficiency is something that attracts people. And I mean, Bruno, you've been talking about changing mindset. The problem that we have here is changing mindset is one thing. We have, as Intership, we are managing more than 100 ships of different kinds. Tankers, bulkers, gas ships, MPPs. We have a number of different, let's say also PCTCs, feeder ships. And all have actually the same challenge. Whether or not we like it, we have some regulatory coming into force. Our KPIs in the first place, of course, just to answer your question, Keng, is very simple. We have to keep the vessels available. We have to keep them safe. We have to keep them reliable. And we have to make them somehow environmentally viable and equitable. Because every ship, as you also mentioned, Bruno, has a value. It's an asset. And we have to take responsibility as a manager to keep that asset on a high value. That means our KPIs are keep it safe, keep it available, keep it without incidents, keep it also compliant to the new upcoming regulatory challenges. We are facing a lot at the moment with the EU ETS. After EEXI and CAI ratings, we have been also asked by our customers, a variety of different ship owners, what to do, what to leave, how to, let's say, manage the ships in a better way to be compliant also for the future. It has been really a challenge because there were a lot of different varieties of possibilities that you can actually apply. Like also Dario just mentioned, you can apply a lot of things, a lot. Hundreds and hundreds of different technologies are available. Like Mr. Shao also just mentioned before, fuels, ammonia, methanol. The funny thing is, we are being asked a lot about this, let's say, different fuels. The problem is availability. Supply side is not there. The infrastructure is not there. I know several of my friends in Japan and in Europe, and also in American waters, they're trying to check out with ammonia at the moment, but these are pilot cases. These are pilot engines. Ammonia engines are simply not at the moment available and in merchantable, let's say, specifications. They will come up as long as, let's say, different ship owners will be convinced to use them, but if there is no inquiry, we don't see anything much coming of that. Another KPI is, of course, saving fuels. Saving fuel. Every ton of fuel is saving 3 tons of carbon emissions. Very simple. I don't need to be studying mathematics. We are trying to put things forward that makes economical sense. Especially several of our ships that we manage are of older age, and you can't just spend $1 million or $2 million on, let's say, kind of Flettner rotors or any kind of special rocket science gimmicks, expecting some kind of, let's say, rating in around rating improvement in around 0.5 to 0.4%. That is not going to happen. But what we can do and what we have done, we have experience with Mavis ducts applications. We have apparent, let's say, also experience with PBCFs, the propeller boss cap fins, which are quite enormous. Actually, I've been involved in the first projects long time ago. But we had bunker prices, we didn't have these regulatory in place, so nobody was interested. Nowadays, in combination, for instance, a PBCF in combination with a Mavis duct and with the right coating is something that you can save on between 4 and 7.5% on your fuel consumption, respectively on your emissions. That's provable. And then we have, also what Dario mentioned, we have software. We have a lot of software at the moment being checked. Software for voyage optimization, for fuel optimization. There are a number of different technologies available. Also, we have been working with DNV in the first place. Yes, you might be surprised. DNV and some other flags as well in order to provide technology advice and consultancy to our ship owners. Still, some of the ship owners are very reluctant to invest, but they have to, because sooner or later they will have to pay penalties. As long as the penalties are far away and compared to the current operation costs, of course, it is still viable to use HFO, gas oil, and all the traditional fuels. But as we see it, and as time is flying fast, as we know, there's another KPI, coming back on your question, which is keeping the OPEX, keeping the operational expenses. And we are trying really hard on that, to save cost, to save operational expenses. And then, of course, at the end of the day, and this is all just by wrapping it up, we have a fantastic crew. We have a fantastic people on board and ashore. And all these guys, they have been serving us for more than 20, 25 years in some cases. And they have expertise. They know the ships in and out. They know the technology. They know what to do, how to make them more compliant, how to make them more viable, reliable, and available in order to make sure that our customers, our ship owners, because we have been ship owners a long time ourselves, are to be made happy and save the money that they have to invest later on with their new builds. Because let's face it, the new building technologies that we are actually seeing at the moment, also from the order advice, are also giving us a lot of different ideas. But to be honest, most of the orders are being placed on dual fuel, and they will continue at the moment on dual fuel, with of course the option to say methanol ready or ammonia ready, whatever that means. Thank you.
Thank you. Vikas. Very good. Thanks for sharing. And yes, and here comes to Captain Kapoor. Yeah. So, a question related to future outlook. In your view, what are the most significant changes needed in the industry to achieve better ship performance in coming years?
Thanks a lot, and thanks for having me here. I think it's a very, very wide scope topic, and I could actually start off anywhere on this, so I just decided to focus a bit more on the commercial side of things. And as ship owners and ship managers, this is our day-to-day challenge, and I'm pretty sure most of my panelists would agree that what happens is we need to improve our commercial contracts. And what I mean by that is, what do we now do every day? We require our ships to sail as fast as possible from the port, arrive at the next port, and then wait at anchorages. You increase the emissions, right? And the idea is that the owners, the charterers, the shippers, and the receivers all need to be on the same page with respect to the availability of the ship and the time that the ship needs to be done. I mean, just-in-time concept and everything have been talked about, but I don't think much has actually been achieved. There are steps being taken. On a similar note, you could also talk about transparency and communications, where you actually, so typically a ship owner tells the charter, or gives the charter a noon report every day coming up from the ship. A noon report is what is it? It's just a snapshot in time of what ship did in the last 24 hours. It in no way, shape or form gives information to the charter to actually be able to plan for the ship when it is going to come. Actually, the master already practically knows that he is going to be a few hours late, a few hours early, or he has already decided on a time to actually reach. This practically happens on board every day, right? But that transparency in communication is not there. Another very important aspect over here is about the ship maintenance. I mean, as managers, we are dealing with shoestring budgets all the time. And it's fair to say that, when there is not enough separating one manager from the other, the client tends to look at the most easiest thing where he can differentiate the manager, and probably cost becomes very relative there. So the industry is chasing a bottom line. You could actually, think that typical ship management fees has not changed over the last 10 years. It's still the same. It's probably gone down in a few cases. So the OPEX is a big part in maintaining the ship. So that part is there. But from the commercial contract, what is the kind of time today allowed to a vessel to actually carry out maintenance? There are some contracts that may allow for a very limited amount of time. But what actually happens on board is that the chief engineer or the captain are actually scampering for time to do the critical maintenance on board. You cannot immobilize engines when the vessel is at port. Most of the tanker terminals won't allow you to do so. If you need to carry out some critical maintenance, you need to go and anchor. That means that you'll probably risk the vessel being off hire. In the bargain, the ship masters are probably trying on their own account to do better speed and then stop over for 4 or 5 hours so the chief engineer gets set some time for maintenance. So I mean, it's the practical, and we've seen this for years together. I think from that point of view, from the commercial point of view, there has to be a transparency. It's not very easily achievable. I do understand that. You know, you start asking for more time, you start getting off-hired, and the ship owner is not happy and everything and so. But I think that's a challenge. And then crew. I mean, trained crew, crew that are actually coming in at the cost that the owner wants to pay. Depending upon the market, the cyclical market. In a good market, you know, the ship owners are fine. With the cost going up and down a little bit, they're all right. But the moment the market starts to suffer, that's the time then you start looking at the pennies and cents. And 60 to 65% of the cost of operating a vessel is the ship, is the crew. So I think we require trained crew. We probably need to promote shipping as a business in more countries so that more people are actually, you know, there or accepting to move out to sea. A lot of countries have done that, but then there is an infrastructure required, and the ship owners and the managers play a key role over there, so that actually they can promote shipping as a key, you know, livelihood in different countries around the world. That's it.
Okay. Thank you, Captain. So also very good. And yeah, it's great. Now we had done the first round, which very good. And thank you very much for sharing your perspectives and insights on ship performance. I know you guys are expert on all these things. You can talk 2 days or 3 days about it. But we have only about 40 minutes, and we will take last few minutes, which ask you to conclude today's panel. You know, how would you like to put it this way, summarize your viewpoint in one sentence or 1 or 2 keywords? Yeah, who would like to start with?
Go like this?
Let's follow this sequence, yes. Dario.
Similar sequence. So, as I said before, we are doing this alternative fuel. I totally agree with the previous panels that there are many challenges and very expensive and many things. We are doing ammonia ready and methanol ready for the future, but it's a bit far. So whatever will be the fuel, is very important to save the fuel. So it will cost less and we will have to spend less for it. So very ready for the future fuel. Ammonia and methanol look promising, but energy saving most so that we can save it.
Thank you. Energy saving. Okay, Bruno.
I couldn't be more stressed about mine side just now. But again, actually, I'd like to bring everybody go back to the history of shipping. And the energy from the sun, sails, is the most efficient and clean energy. And let's work on together. Hopefully, we'll find a solution there. It will be cheaper, should be cleaner, cleanest. Thank you.
Thank you, Bruno. And Holger.
I can only tell that viable and equitable and, of course, applicable technical solutions should be applied for retrofit and also for the new buildings in combination with well-trained crews and experts on the side of the technical management and also of the operations sides. I think when we combine new technologies, energy-saving technologies with the right crews, we can save a lot and we can come a lot closer to our targets that we have been set by the IMO and by EU for the coming future.
Thank you, Holger. Captain?
Right. I'd like to focus on 2 things, technology and innovation. I mean, you're talking a lot about AI these days. and it's interesting, but AI comes at a cost. We need to know where the cost is going to be paid. Who pays the cost? It's going to be the ship owner at the end of the day, right? So it comes at a cost. It is a difficult, proposition. Everybody wants to integrate AI within their operations, and talking from the point of view of operations again, but it comes at a cost. So that's one part. The other part that I want to make a brief mention about is the geopolitical situation around the world today. And when I say geopolitical, I'm also talking about sanctions. I'm also talking about the gray fleets. I'm also talking about the day-to-day management of the vessels. And it puts an enormous amount of pressure on the resources within an organization when you actually try to figure out which cargo is within the price cap, which is not in the OFAC list, which entity are you dealing with. You can imagine the amount of time and energy being spent by the lawyers in the ship owner's side. And this is, with every geopolitical move happening, that creates an additional amount of pressure on the ship owner, the manager, who's actually representing the ship owner. So I think it's quite evident as a third-party manager, and I've seen in trade winds in the past that a lot of large ship managers actually, saying that they have lost a large amount of business to the gray fleet, which I think is the right thing. But the other side of it is the amount of pressure that your resources do come under in order to, filter out what is the legitimate business that you want to do. I just wanted to highlight that in the forum.
Thank you, Captain. Exactly. I'm going to ask who our audience would like to ask questions. Please go ahead. Yes.
I take this opportunity because I see such a wonderful and knowledgeable panel that you were talking about the optimization of the fleet performance and the way that you see the steps and the next steps. What about the human element? Yourself, you are mature, either if I will start from Mr. Kapoor to come to Mr. Chen, all of you. Do you think that the industry provides the continuation, the sufficient continuation of the people that they know well the ship in order to continue this continuous effort for fleet optimization? This is my question for all of you.
Let me just start with it. We have just discussed that point with a lot of ship owners and also inside the ship manager in our group and organization. We have set up last year already some kind of a crew sourcing and a training program. Another one, actually, this is not the first one, to find new ways of recruiting, but also of training and educating people to be on board and also to provide the right environment on board. Because as we know in Japan and Korea, here also probably in China and Europe, shipping is not really considered a very attractive industry to work in. So we are trying to also with the DNV, with some other classification at the moment to attract, also doing fair shows, doing different events on different forums, to attract young people also to reconsider this position and to get them into the shipping and to provide them with, let's say, I don't want to promise too much, but with some incentives to make that worth considering also with the training. And it seems like, I wouldn't say it's really overwhelming, but it seems working somehow.
I'd like to add a point here. And I agree. I think most of the ship owners are actually going out and reaching out with cadetship programs across the globe, in specifically the countries that they feel that they might have a good resource backed by the government initiatives in that particular country itself. But I have a different approach to this. seafarers, and coming from a seafaring background myself, I don't think they feel a part of the community. I think we're all sitting over here are representing very good and famous companies. There are not many seafarers around here. So their voice is limited to that on board. So that's one point. Number two, most of the organizational culture is sometimes, and I cannot make a generalized statement about this, it's not inclusive of the seafarer. It's inclusive of the shore staff, and we talk a lot about our shore staff, and we like to talk a lot about our crew, but are we able to provide them continuous contracts? They're still working on 4 on and 2 offs, or likewise, so they are not paid when they are on leave. Most of the organizations are not able to give them things like insurances, health insurances all the year around. I mean, what we enjoy as shore staff, ship staff probably find it a bit more challenging to enjoy. There are a few companies, having said that, who have taken that initiative, but that initiative comes at a cost. And those companies have probably seen more benefits reaping out of this. But I think we need to embrace this a little bit more. The ship owners need to understand also that investing in the new technology, the new engines, the new fuels and everything, I think from a people point of view, the seafarers need to be heard a bit more.
Great. So thank you for the question, and also thank you for excellent answer for the question. And I hope our audience here today found what has been shared by our panelists inspiring. And now we come to the end of the session. So thank you all for listening, and have a good day. Yeah. Let's give a big applause to our panelists. Thank you.